Hi everyone, welcome to the TGC podcast. It's just me today, Brendan, and I've got one of my mates joining me, and after he takes a sip, so I've got my mate Ryan joining me.
Hello.
So Ryan is one of my old friends from school, and he's an avid gamer and anime watcher, and I just thought we'll do a bit of an intimate podcast and have a bit of a discussion about some other topics that the rest of the Greendale crew don't really do. So, Ryan, why don't you tell the listeners a bit about yourself?
I'm a second year accounting student on my bachelor degree, and in between my schoolwork and my not much else, anime and play video games. I read a lot of comics too.
Yeah. So, well, I guess we'll start it off. What kind of got you into gaming in general?
Most of my friends had gaming systems and played games a lot, so I was always hanging around with them, and that's what got me into it.
Okay. So that's like Brandon and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question we ask every new regular on the show, congratulations, you're now a regular.
Oh, beautiful.
What was the first console you ever owned?
Original Xbox.
Oh, really?
Either that, or if we're counting handhelds, it would be the Game Boy Advance.
Well, yeah, we do count handhelds.
Game Boy Advance.
Okay, and what did you play on that?
Pokemon Fire Red.
Damn you, sir. The one I always wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so what have you got in the way of consoles and that now?
At the moment, I have a Nintendo 3DS, a PlayStation 3, an Xbox 360, and a PC, which isn't too great.
Oh, on your PSP?
Oh, and my PSP.
Yeah.
But it's kind of...
It's just a Monster Hunter machine.
Yeah.
Same with the 3DS.
It's also damaged at the moment, which is why I haven't been using it. I also play Tactics Saga, Let Us Cling Together, and other strategy games.
It's a brilliant name. Let us cling together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as I said, I knew Ryan from school. He kind of put up with me. Kind of didn't really know who he was. Like, I'd met him probably 3 years before we actually started talking to each other. And, yeah, he's just kind of put up with me ever since. So, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so me and Ryan, we watch a fair amount of anime and play a lot of board games and tabletop games and kind of the weirder games that Reese, Julian, and Eddie don't really play. Oh, and Paul. So, yeah, I guess, what have you been doing last 2 weeks, give or take? What have you been watching, playing, doing?
I've been watching from the currently airing shows, an adaptation of Masahiro Madara. I can't remember his name. The original author of Trigun.
Oh,
He
okay.
has a new manga, and it's being adapted into an anime in the current season, which is called Kekai Sensen. Other than that, I haven't really been watching much. Mostly I've been playing a Japanese browser game called Cancel, or Cancole.
Now explain the premise of Cancoli to everyone, because I know what it is.
It's just a typical browser game where you amass resources over time and you try and gain new resources or characters, which in Cancel's premise happen to be girls who are part boat or part submarine or part naval carrier. And this can usually be seen by the fact that they have cannons growing out of them or have the top of the carrier as like a shield on their arm. And they launch little planes off them to kill their enemies. Because this is a Japanese... Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. Because this is a Japanese game, the only creatures or people in the game so far have been Axis, which has had 1 Bismarck-class boat, and 2 Italian boats, which recently got released in the spring 2015 event.
Oh, okay. So, what the hell they decided to make a show of it?
Oh, yeah.
And the show still tells you nothing other than girls turning into boats.
What else do you need, Brendan?
Well, apparently I don't need much.
Well, you're also supposed to only watch it if you're into the game. Why else would you be watching it?
To try and find out what the hell the game is about, because we can't access it without a VPN.
There's no plot to it. You just play it to play it, like every other browser game.
Yeah, but I suppose, it makes it easier to ship people.
You've been waiting forever to use that pun.
I use that pun like minimum once a week if I can. What have I been watching? I just finished Oda no Bruna no Yabo, which it's in no way a good show. The basic premise is your typical person comes from present day and goes back to the Warring States era of Japan. In this case, it's a high school boy, not a high school girl for a change. And because he shows up and he has the same name as Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who was a famous general, the real Toyotomi Hideyoshi has to die. So, like the whole rule of one kind of thing.
So do they reenact Highlander and the main character survives 3,000 years into modern day, like he, I don't know, sees himself and sends himself back in time?
I mean, I think he does because he's not dead yet. But basically, yeah, he goes back in time, and because he's gone back in time, apparently that stuffed up a timeline before he even got there. And a lot of the famous generals are now females instead of male. So instead of it being Oda Nobunaga, it's Oba Nobunaga. And like Akechi Mitsuhide is now a girl. Takano Hanbei is now like this 6-year-old wizard. Yes,
the only one I could see the case being made for would be Uesugi Kenshin.
Which makes sense because
they don't know what
like, was he a boy or a girl? All we know is he drunk himself to death because that's what monks do.
Oh yeah, for a monk, clearly the only way to die is from alcohol poisoning.
I mean, apparently that guy bloody drank like crazy too, which is impressive for a monk. But I mean, what else do you get from the Japanese god of war, basically?
Yeah.
So yeah, now he's going back. Sagara Yoshiharu, who would later become Toyotomi Hideyoshi, ends up following most of his historical Toyotomi Hideyoshi's story of becoming Oda Nobunaga's sandal bearer, but he's now, because he's a high school kid from the future, he's played all these like historical games and like Dynasty Warrior games and stuff. And
you mean like Romance of the Three Kingdoms?
Yeah, they even addressed that. Like, oh, I did this in Romance of the Three Kingdoms, like 12 in like the expansion pack. And like, oh, I've done this in the Ambition of Nobunaga, and he keeps making like references to it's event time, and like an FMV plays in his head.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so he ends up going back and that, and then because he's there, he's trying to save Nobunaga from dying in the Hanaji incident. And as soon as he starts altering one thing, like telling Nobunaga instead of attacking Wakasa, for example, she lies to him and attacks Wakasa anyway. But because he's done that, it starts affecting the timeline to the point where like Nobunaga ends up attacking Sakai, which was a merchant town, and it was off limits to all the daimyo and even the shogun, really. Yeah, and it starts playing on history to the point where he's there, and he's a horny, like, 15-year-old boy, and he keeps wanting his prize to be the prettiest girl in Japan for capturing Mino. And after he captures Mino, there's a whole romance scene between him and Nobunaga. And like I said, this is in no way a good show.
So you're starting a typical terrible plot.
Yeah, it is in no way a good show, but they do the fight scenes between like massive armies really well. It's kind of like Sengoku Basara levels of that's balls to the wall crazy, but they're only on screen for maybe, out of a 12-episode show, half an hour max.
Oh.
And that's including the opening and ending once. Yeah, I wish it was more of that, but it ends way before Nobunaga would have died. But also in the current timeline, like there's still male generals and stuff, but in their current timeline, everything's changed, so Nobunaga wouldn't die. basically, because Honoji wouldn't happen. Oh, it's dumb, it's stupid, it's in no way good, but I watched the first 7 episodes and did it like one night just because I started it and then realized it was like 3 a.m. And then I couldn't watch anything else until I finished this one show just because I wanted to know what happened. So it's my typical dumb show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been doing that.
You been playing the games recently?
I've been replaying Mass Effect 1. On PC, I'm starting the Mass Effect trilogy. That game doesn't really hold up. Like, graphically, compare it, because it's an almost 10-year-old game, it holds up well in that regard. The mechanics of that game are awful.
Oh, yeah, the UI is particularly bad, isn't it?
It's better on PC. Oh, yeah, like, the inventory management makes sense on PC, but I can see why on console it was frustrating as all hell.
I never had a problem with it, but my inventory systems not like your stereotypical ones.
Yeah, it's basically an inventory management game.
I'm okay with this.
Yes, it's like, you know, I can deal with that. I'm playing Star Wars: The Old Republic at the moment as well because I'm getting back into that for a little bit.
I've been playing Summoner Sea recently.
And how is that? Because I saw I was seeing you. I saw it when you bought it, and you were telling me it's like really good, and then I hadn't heard anything for like a month. So.
Oh, it's made by the people who made Fallen London.
Okay.
And I really like the themes it has. It's all dark and depressive and spooky. And they really pull it off well.
Yeah.
And the game is you're a captain on a boat, and you sail the sunless sea. And there's like a few end passes, like become super rich, become powerful, discover the entirety of the sunken sea, and like be a cartographer and stuff.
Yeah.
And your ship has like fuel and power, which powers its lights.
Okay.
And if the lights are off when you're on the sea, you start going insane.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
There's also monsters that are trying to kill you. And there's this giant jellyfish thing that's the size of your boat. There's like crab things that you can kill and eat. You can eat your own crew if you start running out of fuel. Not fuel, food.
This is like some kind of biothermal reactor on this boat.
Yeah, no. You have your crew, and the more crew you have, the more food you use. But typically, the better your boat is.
Yeah.
But you can eat your crew in case you run out of food. It may just happen.
Yeah. So what era is this set in? Like,
it's
contemporary era? Or?
It's like a false Victorian era. It's like it's literally like a city under the sea.
Oh wow!
And there's no sunlight, and if you touch the sun, you die. And you can go visit the surface.
Hey. We have.
Thanks for being quiet.
So we just awakened Jared's younger brother.
My younger brother, not Jared.
Oh, Ryan's younger brother, sorry.
His name is Jared.
His name is Jared.
Oh,
say hello to people.
I never met him. Yeah, I heard that he went to bed 10 minutes before you two showed up.
Well, that was his fault then.
Fucking stab you.
Yeah, so what else have I been watching? I got obviously Game of Thrones is out. Ryan doesn't watch Game of Thrones, but
shock horror.
Yeah,
no, I'm going to read the books eventually. You know, when I can buy them all.
It's good. There's a lot of setup, and that's all like the next 4 to 5 episodes will be. What else? In terms of games, I'm back playing Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3 at the moment, and Monster Hunter grinding for stuff so I can catch up to Ryan and Jared.
I'm sorry we're better than you.
Monster Hunter 4, sorry. You should be.
For Ultimate.
For Ultimate.
Or if you're in Japan, 4G.
Not Gundam G.
No. Oh, come on. G Gundam is the best one.
It's not.
It is.
It's really not.
It is, and you have terrible taste for not realizing it.
Wait, no. Are we talking about Mobile Fighter G or Greco?
Mobile Fighter G Gundam.
Oh, okay.
Gundam.
That is good.
Gundam Reconquista in G. They are different things.
Yeah, so I guess we'll kind of get into the main topic. So, Ryan, where were we tonight?
Some store on the other side of town that I don't know the name of that sells Gundam materials.
Oh, you were terrible at this.
It was what, Gundam Universe?
At Gundam Universe over in Carnegie. So it's a model store that primarily sells Gundam Gunpla model kits and I mean, they've got other stuff as well, like some Armored Core kits and
Zone of
some
Ender.
frame arms and Zone of Enders.
That's just all board games and stuff. Well, I had a couple there, but I
They've
think
got
people...
some board games for events. They've got some Madman entertainment backing, so they can sell DVDs and manga and stuff as well. And they got certain figures that will come in if people order them or if there's enough interest in them. So we were over there for a social night, and they haven't been around that long, but around 8 months. And yeah, they had a social night, and it's their first like extended hours night. Yeah, it was a really, really good night. There was probably 30 people, a bit more.
About 20. There's about 10 on our table.
Oh no, there was more than that.
No, because we're all fairly... when there was the most people there, I'd say about 25.
Yeah.
To about 30. But
Yeah.
for most of the time, it was roughly about 18, 20.
Yeah, I suppose steadily from when we got there, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so we had a night of building some kits and purchasing more kits and putting ourselves just within that debt threshold.
Living life on the edge.
Why not? There were people playing board games. They had a PlayStation 3 set up with Gundam Extreme versus Full Burst.
No, they didn't have the full burst.
Oh,
It was just
Extreme versus.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, it's basically like a arena brawler, I guess they're called, like Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
I don't know if it's quite like Xenoverse. I know there was a Budokai game.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's perfect. It's like the old Budokai Dragon Ball Z games. But instead of picking a character like Goku or something, you pick a mobile suit and you have kind of a certain amount of attacks you can use each round. It's really hard to play and you can't read Japanese. Because it's a Japanese only game. And we started playing it and people kind of got the hang of it, and then one of our friends, who we'll just call him the Majin, because that's kind of what he is, started playing it, and without even really trying, he became the unwilling master of this game. Yeah, so we all kind of spent probably the next hour trying to beat him. None of us got close, and he retired with about 20 wins under his belt.
None of us could touch him.
Oh, it was amazing, though. It was so good. And then you and me probably played about half an hour's worth, just fighting each other. Yeah, it's a really interesting game, the way it plays. Graphically, it's stunning. I can't speak for the voices because I'm not fluent in Japanese. They sounded like they had a lot of emotion behind them, like any typical Japanese voiceover. But yeah, gameplay-wise, it plays a lot how an arena brawler would play. So a lot of the mechanics were locking onto your target and timing your shots and melee attacks, along with using your special moves. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't speak to the game too much because I haven't played it fully, but it seems like one of those games that you can play every now and then, or you could probably sink, the same amount of time that you'd sink into a Monster Hunter game.
Nowhere near the amount of time you could put into a Monster Hunter game unless you played competitively with a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Because it would grow fairly stale fairly quick. And there's not as much of an end game place to reach.
There are a lot of unlocks in it, though, that I saw.
Yeah, but not quite as much as... You wouldn't get as much hours in a Monster Hunter title. The only games I can think of... That
like a Dynasty Warriors game, I guess, because there's unlocks and stuff?
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah.
Like, the only games I can think of matching Monster Hunter in hours are like JRPGs like Disgaea, which have a level cap, an invisible level cap, of somewhere around 3,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because in that, your characters store levels behind the scenes.
Yep.
And you can reset your character's level.
Okay.
For an in-game, currency thing. And that's the only way to get the high-end stats, is to store your soul level, basically soul level, to about 3,000, then reach the level cap of 1,000.
Yeah, so just keep basically New Game Plusing.
Oh.
Like you're doing, like a Dead Space or like a Dark Souls. I'm being attacked by a dog here.
That's the only way to reach the proper end game content of that game. Is at a certain point the game stops recording the stats properly, and it just shows 9999, and your stats will keep going up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a really good night. They had some kind of giveaways, thanks to Madman and Gundam Duel Company Australia, the kind of online-ish browser-based trading card games that you can apparently play in real life, but I'm not sure how. Basically, that game is you load up a 3x3 grid of a certain number of mobile suits, however many your capacity is, which is usually around 4, maybe 5. You stack certain mobile suits on top of each other, so like if you have you don't Voltron them up.
Oh, come on, I just want to put a GM on another GM's shoulders.
Mecha Concho. So you stack a level 2 RX-78 with a level 3 RX-78 and you get an improved level 3. If you stack a level 3 and a level 3, you get a level 4. And that changes their stats. And if you put the right pilot with the right mobile suit, so for the RX-78, for example, you have Armoro piloting it. If you had 1 Year War Armoro piloting it when he's a child, if you have him piloting the correct mobile suit, it'll give a bonus on top of the bonus that it increases because it's the right person for the right time for the right mobile suit. You can also put people that aren't equipped to use a certain mobile suit. So, say if I got Setsuna from Double O and put him, because he's classed as kind of like a new type, because he's an innovator, because he's classed as a new type, he can pilot certain new type mobile suits like the Quayblade, like a Match 11 or a Sazabi, but he won't get an ability boost. You'll just get
the ability to use the suit.
Yeah, and you'll just have so instead of getting all your stat boosts or being able to use an ability rearrange the battlefield or reroll failed hits or reroll failed misses, reroll this, reroll that, you'll just get cool, you have a slightly stronger mobile suit because it's piloted by a, quote, human. As opposed to just being a blank mobile suit on AI.
Yeah,
it's kind of the game. Unfortunately, it's not like Magic the Gathering or any other kind of card-based game. You can't combo off in it, I guess.
You can't
it doesn't,
do reactions.
It doesn't have in-depth mechanics. Basically, you just load up code and you watch kind of a predetermined video play out that has a random generator behind it, a random generator. So it's the kind of game you have playing while you're checking emails if you're at work.
I'm sure your boss will love it if they look over your desk. They just see mobile suits flying across it instead of you doing your work.
Ryan, you've heard my work. I really don't care if my boss cares or not. So they had that, and they had the complete collection, Gundam collection on DVD, which is the original series, Zeta, 8MS Team, Stardust Memory, Wing, the movie for Wing, which is the best Christmas movie ever. Take that, Die Hard. Double O, the Double O movie, Charles Counterattack, Seed Destiny Final Plus movie, all of the Unicorn movies. There's one other I'm missing, and I shouldn't be.
Isn't Age in English?
No, Age isn't in English. And it never will be. The same with Double Zeta. It only got Double Zeta only got an English release in Taiwan and 2 very, very niche specific countries in Southeast Asia.
No, the places that need an English release.
Well, even America didn't get one. Or Europe or China. I mean, China is kind of a big English speaking country, believe it or not. No, obviously Chinese is their major language. but you go over there, people speak English. Yeah, so they had that, and that was one of the prizes. They had 2 of those collections to give away.
No, they only had one of those. I had 3 double O collections.
No, they had 2 of them. He announced it twice.
No, the
It was
second one was just
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Oh my
That's
god.
why, because if I was going to win it on the second draw, I'd have to forfeit it because I already just won it in the other one. That's why the guy across the table from us, he was the one who drew second. He was standing next to the guy.
Oh, right.
He's like,
right.
I already have this, so I'm going to forfeit it. And then they drew from someone else who wasn't there.
Yeah. Ah, okay. Alright, maybe I wasn't hearing right because I was too focused on building a kit.
Probably.
Yeah, so they had 3 copies of the complete Double O collection to win, which you were lucky enough to win.
Yes, I was.
I
was extremely fortunate.
It's probably the series that got us into Gundam. I mean, obviously, like, there was Gundam on TV when I was like 6, but I had no idea what it was, and it was that weird SD Force one where it's like they're like capsule fighters that kids throw at people, but they're apparently saving the universe somehow. Unbeknownst to their like child owners. Yeah, so they had those, and yeah, it was a really, really good night. Really glad that it went really, really smoothly for them, and everyone had a lot of fun for their first big event, like their own store run event, company event. Yes, I mean, like, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I had a great time. I didn't have any kits when I showed up, so I bought one when we showed up, which was something I usually do. So I had a lot of fun.
Shows up and flaunts his money around.
Oh, yeah. So much money spilling out of me right now. So I had a lot of fun putting that together.
Yeah, you were too cheap to buy me a coffee for driving you there.
Well, considering how much money I had after the event.
Yeah, considering how much a coffee is in Carnegie.
Yeah, no, I had a great time after I put together my model. And during it, I had a few games on the PS3, spoke to people, had a good time, met some nice people.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna head back over there when we can. Definitely when they've got another event, try and make it. They have regular build mates, like groups of people that'll come in and build, or like they'll have a bunch of people around and just like play games or something for like half a day. It's a really, really chilled store. The owners there are amazing. Like, if me and Ryan wanted to order a model kit, and last time I was there, not only did I order a model kit for me and Ryan, which they're like, as soon as it's in, we'll ship it to you, just pay it like cash on demand or something, cash on delivery if you want. Not only did I do that, but I decided to try and catch a hobby knife and get a hobby knife stuck in my hand. Completely by accident. It's not like I was trying to do it, because that's dumb. Just without thinking, I was putting on stickers of all things. Now, for stickers, you don't need a hobby knife.
You just had to up the ante, take a knife at them.
Well, I mean, live life dangerously. So, yeah, I cut my hand open, and they were really good. They're like, oh, alright, cool, here's this, here's the number of the local emergency kind of 24-hour clinic thing, which, by the way, it's supposedly open 24/7, and it was closed. And it's closed.
Obviously, you came in the 25th hour.
Oh, I must have. Yeah, it's open for 24 hours out of 7. Yeah, so they were really good about that. Like, if you start feeling dizzy, let us know. Yeah, so I had my hand wrapped up in like a massive wad of tissues and a bunch of like black electrical tape. And I was still putting on stickers, and I probably sat there for probably another 3 hours. And they're like, "Oh, you're alright. You need to like some water or something." I'm like, "No, I'm good. It's cool. It's cool."
All the blood is slowly ribs all back into my hand.
One of the owners is like, if he starts bleeding or passes out, push him out the door, because I don't want that kind of responsibility.
To be fair, nobody wants that responsibility.
Yeah, well. Yeah, so it's a really good place. So it's Gundam Universe, and if you kind of want to go to a chilled place and build some kits, or find out a bit more about the hobby, and and support a local store and what they can do for you, definitely check out Gundam Universe in Carnegie. Yeah, but other than that, the other week, me and Ryan went down to Melbourne CBD to a Japanese restaurant called Izakaya Chuchi. And Izakaya Chuchi is run by Andre Bishop, and Mark Morrison, and they're both avid board gamers. And Andre's kind of more of the restaurant manager, where Mark used to be a web game and app developer, like just as apps started hitting the market. Decided I'll go partner with my friend Andre now that I don't have a job anymore because he got laid off, unfortunately. But it's worked out really well for him, and he's partner in probably, I think it's Melbourne's oldest Japanese restaurant.
No, yeah, I think it's that.
Yeah, it's Australia. It's one of Australia's most premier Japanese restaurants, just because of the person who runs it. Andre has the title from of sake samurai from the Japanese Sake Council. So he's an official ambassador of sake throughout the world, and he's had that title since the mid-70s, and he's been involved with sake and Japanese food, since early 70s. Yeah, and they run a thing on a Tuesday night called Godzilla Games, and Godzilla Games, you go down to Izakaya Chuchi, you walk in the door, head towards the back, go up the stairs kind of into their their private room, I guess you'd call it, which is really just a mezzanine floor. And you find a group of people and play some board games.
Yeah, no, it's great fun.
Yeah, it was amazing. You get table service there, and you just pay before
when
you leave.
When you first show up, they'll give you a square card with a number on it. This number is your tab, and at the end of the night, you have to pay off the tab. And because you went to the event, you get a 10% discount on all your purchases.
Yes,
which is really nice of them to organise.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Especially considering there's no fees.
Yeah, exactly. It's a totally free event, and they run different events all throughout the week. So on a Thursday night, they have your pen and paper RPGs running. At the moment, I think it's a Fate RPG, because a lot of the people down there play Fate because it's an easy system to play. It's just plus or minus a positive or negative effect, really. But Fate's one of those rule systems you can make do whatever you want it to do.
Yeah, it's a generic use system.
Yeah, so while we were down there on the Tuesday night at Godzilla Games, they had the games that started off the night were Battlestar Galactica, the board game, which if you haven't played it, I'd highly recommend you playing it, because it's 3.5 hours of you accusing everyone else as being a robot. And things can get pretty tense to the point where people are threatening, if you think I'm a robot, kill me now and we'll sort it out later. And people get very tense and kind of passive aggressive. And it's the kind of board games that mixes strategy, bluffing, tactics,
resource management.
Yeah, resource management, because if you're food, fuel, population, or oh my god, what is the last resource that you never use in the game? There's 4 resources, and if any one of them hits 0, the game is over, the players lose. There's also miniatures combat in it, so every round Cylons will attack the Galactica or the Pegasus or whichever ship you're on, depending on the expansions you have. And yeah, you've kind of got to work as a team, but also not trust each other. So like, someone might go, oh, you're a pilot, go out and stop the raiders from attacking, while I go and man the AA cannons, and you're not entirely sure if they're trying to kill you or if they're actually generally trying to save Galactica. Yeah, so it's got elements of card drawing, playing cards every turn, which there's really mini cards. They're probably like inch by half an inch cards, and there's 6 decks of those. There's a bunch of like mutiny cards. There's You Are Not a Cylon cards and Cylon cards, which have a very interesting mechanic of, you start the game with a card that says, you'll start with one card, a normal size playing card that will say, you are a Cylon or you are not a Cylon. You can have any number of You Are Not a Cylon cards, but as soon as you get a You Are a Cylon card, you are a Cylon regardless of how many other cards you say have that say you're not. No one else sees these cards except for you, so it's a lot of revealing yourself at the right time, not getting executed before you should be. There's a lot of contesting for the positions of Fleet President and Fleet Admiral. If someone has Fleet President and Fleet Admiral, we call that the Predasmal, and it usually ends up whoever gets those first is generally a Cylon and will stop anyone else from taking them, so we're screwed. And you find out in the last 5 minutes when like half the players get thrown out of the airlock, the other half go to the brig and get executed, like I was. I didn't even have time to be like, no, don't send me to the brig, no, I'm not a Cylon, and I already had a bullet in my brain. Yeah, and the other games that kicked off the night were Tokaido, which is a kind of Japanese lore game, I guess you'd call it, where you travel across a board and you kind of learn things about Japan as you go and like their culture and stuff. And it's a really casual game. It's kind of the board game you could give to people that don't care about board games. They just kind of want to like chill, play something with their friends. Yeah, there was a few other games.
Was there?
Catan is always there. That's always popular with people. So what game did you start off with?
Oh jeez, it had some impossibly long to remember name. It actually had a really nice art style. It was like in change per card. But what it was, you got a wizard card, which showed your life, and it started on 20, and it could go up to 25 and down to 0 or 1, and then after that you died. And you also drew cards, which were your spell cards, which came in the beginning, the middle, and the end. You mix them together to create spells to try and kill the other wizards.
So it's basically Magic as a card game.
It's basically Magic of the card game, except instead of trying to kill NPCs or advance the quest ranking, you're trying to kill everyone else at the table. So you can become champion wizard of Skullfucking Mountain or whatever.
Skullfucking Mountain. That's a He-Man thing, isn't it?
Sure. And when you die, you draw a deck card from the Dead Wizard deck. And they have various effects, such as you start the next game with plus 2 HP, you start the next game with an extra card in your hand, with an extra spell, with treasure, and one card, which there are 2 copies of it in the deck, which says, you are dead. And you don't get to play that round. So, when I died in one of the rounds and the person who brought the game died, we both drew those cards at the exact same time, so we had to stay on the next round. So instead of having the 5 people, there were 3.
Oh, God.
Which gave us a lot of time to accumulate more Dead Wizard cards, by the way. Every round, every turn, you go dead, you draw a Dead Wizard card.
Okay. So they have positive and negative effects.
There's only one negative effect of the game, which is you are dead.
Okay.
All the other ones are positive, which are like a handicap, saying, you died really early, you're shit, here, we need to help you.
Oh, no, crap.
Yeah, no, it was
I saw you playing Sura?
Yeah, so that game is it's really simple and can be really complicated sometimes. You get stones and put them on the lines at the edge of the board, and everyone has square tiles which have patterns drawn on them. Usually there are 3 to 5 lines on them, arranged in a geometric pattern, and you place that in front of yourself. And then you follow the line to its conclusion, which usually is the other side of the square, until you hit the midpoint of the game where everyone's about branched into the middle, and one wrong place can get you to the edge of the map where you die.
Okay.
If you touch another player, you die.
Huh.
So ideally what you want to do is...
So it's basically playing Tron on the light cycles. Don't run off the map and don't cross the 2 coloured lights.
Yes, it's basically Tron the board game. Except you don't move in a straight line. So it's like, there's a couple of straight lines, but most of it's squiggles and stuff.
I feel like if it was called Tron the board game, no one would care about it and everyone would say it was awful.
It's a lot of fun. You want to try and manipulate the pattern on the board so that you end up moving to a safe location where you haven't been yet. While your opponents have to follow in your default path and end up off the other side of the board where they lose. And the last person standing is the winner, unless there's 2 people at the end and they crash into each other, in which case nobody is the winner.
It looked really fun. Like a round went for maybe 10 minutes max, I think it was.
About 5 minutes. It's a really fast-paced game.
Yeah.
I don't know how, one of the people at our table didn't want to play too many games of it at once, because it feels very samey, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good as a one-off game to play every once in a while.
Yeah.
After that, oh jeez, what did we play? played Doubt, I think it is.
Yeah.
Or oh shit, Coup.
Yeah.
It's called Coup.
Yeah, we all. I think everyone ended up playing a game of Coup.
Yeah.
Really,
so I've never
really,
played that game before.
I had, but I'm really glad that I finally played it because when I first heard about Coup, I didn't know anything about it. Other than it was like it's a bluffing card game with tokens that look like SIM cards.
Yes, rather than credits.
Credits.
We were really happy that Mark, who was helping run the event, came up with a small treasure chest full of actual metal coins that he makes.
Yeah,
which he allowed us to use them as coins.
Yeah, Mark runs Campaign Coins, which is a Melbourne-based company that makes actual metal coins for your role-playing games.
Yeah, or board games, like
board games. So instead of like, it's all well and good like playing a pen and paper RPG and being like, I've got 20 gold, but when someone hands you 21 gold pieces.
It feels really nice.
It's that tactile feeling of being able to be like, ooh, I have actual money.
I'm pretty sure he originally did it for the Spartacus board game.
No. So he originally did it for 3.5 D&D.
No, that'd be an awful mess.
He made it for kind of just him and his playgroup, and just because everyone's like, oh yeah, sure, I've got money, I buy that, and no one really cared about stats and stuff. Like how much money they had, how much income they were getting. It's like, cool, I kill a monster, sure, we just divide loot up this way, why not? And then yeah, when he introduced campaign coins to his campaigns, it was a lot better because people were like, oh, cool.
Like increased immersion and stuff, yeah.
It's like, you kill a goblin. He had 20 gold and he throws down a bunch of random coins that equal 20 gold.
Yeah.
And he'd go, have fun and like watch people kind of
divide the loot.
Yeah, that greed mentality of people grabbing coins and then counting what they had. And one of his favorite things to do is in taverns, because every player has a coin purse. So in a tavern, he'll be like, "Oh, you're walking through and a drunkard bumps into you. He apologizes and you say it's okay, and then they walk on, and then." The next week they'll be playing their game and they'll check their coin purse and be like, I could swear I had more. I swear I had more coins. And he'll be like, oh, so you know that drunkard that bumped into you? Well, he wasn't drunk. He was a pickpocket, and that's why your coin purse is slashed and you're missing coins. And it puts a lot more immersion and thought into how people play a game. And they're constantly releasing new sets. They're up on Kickstarter at the moment with their fantasy set and their, I think it's called Dragon set. Or Stronghold set, where it's higher denominations of coins. So instead of it being like 1, 5, 20, it's like 100, 500, 1,000, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, which is the King's Ransom one, the big set of King's Ransom one.
Yeah,
which
it goes from 1 to 10,000, which I do plan on getting.
Oh, I'm ordering it. I've already been like, hey, I want that as my 21st birthday present. Hey, Mum, it's $80. Have fun.
I don't want real money or anything tactile. I want fake money.
Yeah, give me fake money. It's way cooler. Yeah, and all the designs on the coins are really intricate and like detailed. What you'd expect to get from a mint. I'd even say it's closer to like a special print commemorative coin. With really intricate designs. Yeah, so like it's really good, and I'm looking forward to getting a set and trying to play like a Legend of the Five Rings campaign with them.
Problem is they won't work too well, like because of the way money works in Legend of Five Rings.
The thing with Legend of the Five Rings is there's actual Japanese currency basically, which is Koku, Brew, and Zenny.
Yeah, I think it's Zenny.
It's Zenny. I know I've been making characters for like the past week just because I'm like, I need to make L5R characters. Yeah, so you can, and the denominations on the coins are small enough that if you wanted to use those denominations, it's easy enough for people to tell. But if you wanted to use different denominations, the coins are all different. You can just look at it and go, oh, that's such and such denomination. The King's Ransom ones, like the 10,000 ones, obviously the denominations because they're longer. bigger, so it's a bit harder to get around that. But that's kind of where you just go, oh yeah, it's 1,000 koku. You fought an army because you had 1,000 koku. A small army, like peasants. But
realistically, you wouldn't be handling the money because you are a samurai. Samurai do not handle money. That is for the merchants.
yeah, sure. Samurai don't handle money.
Yeah.
They weren't actually like the most corrupt people ever, but anyway.
So anyway, the point of coup is to stage a coup.
Yeah, back onto coup after this coup of a topic.
Yeah. Each player has 2 cards in front of them, which are dukes, the anti-assassin lady.
Dukes,
Countesses.
Yeah, countesses, merchants, and assassins.
Assassin and ambassador.
Yeah, ambassador.
And there's 3 free actions which anybody can do, which is gain income, you get $1. There's raise.
Take stocks.
Yeah, or
like trade.
Foreign
trade.
Foreign trade, which gets you 2 coins, but can be blocked by ambassadors.
Yeah.
Or there's coup, which costs 7 coins, which kills a card. If you have no cards left, you're out of the game.
Yeah, you're out of the game, and the rounds go super quick. People can call your bluff, because both your cards are face down. You can be like, someone's playing like they've got an ambassador, and you have an assassin, so you go, pay 3 credits, kill your ambassador, and then people are like, do you? Really? And then you're like, yes, and then they'll either call bullshit on you having an ambassador, on you having an assassin, or you call bullshit on them being like,
I have a Contessa,
I can block your assassin, and when someone calls bullshit, you have to reveal.
And if you don't have it, it counts as being killed.
Yeah.
But if you do have it, you flip it face up and shuffle it back into the main deck and draw a new card.
Yeah.
When they kill your card, you just flip that face up and you don't get a new one.
Yeah.
And if you use a card, say the Duke raises taxes, you get 3 coins, card blocked.
Yeah.
You can go, I'm going to raise taxes, and goes, you don't have a Duke. And if you do, you flip it up, I've got a Duke. Suck and dick, I get 3 coins. You lose a card, then you shuffle it in and draw a new card.
Yeah.
If you don't have a Duke, you go, I don't have a Duke, flip up one of your cards, you've lost a card, and you're 1 step closer to death.
Yeah. And it's got some interesting mechanics of the ambassador being able to
manipulate the top
manipulate the main deck, and if you do it right, you can, because there's 3 copies of each card, so you can change your ambassadors, so every time someone calls bullshit, you constantly have an ambassador in the deck and in your hand.
That was one thing I did in the first game. I'd be basically calling an ambassador every turn.
Yeah.
And I'd never put my ambassador in the deck. I'd always keep my ambassador and just put the 2 cards back on top.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you don't have an ambassador anymore. I'm like, suck a dick, I have an ambassador. You get spells for a trap.
My favourite was Mike, one of the guys I was playing against. All he did every single turn and every single game was just go, I take $1, I take $1, I take a credit, I take $1. And then he'd get up to 8 and then call coup and try and kill us all. And every single time he did it, he'd succeed.
You can't stop a coup.
No.
But it does cost 7 coins, which, that's like the other card, the captain, he can steal money from people. He takes 2 of their coins.
Yeah.
Which is a very powerful tool because it allows you to prevent people who have lots of money from...
It's amazing when people are on 3 coins and you constantly have them on 1 coin. Just like, yeah, no.
I typically use it to steal people when they're getting close to 7, and so they've got 5, 6, 7, or 8. I'm like, I'm taking 2 of your coins.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, and it's a really super...
Most of the game is you lie about what you have, so you can do whatever you want. So I'm taking 2 of your coins, and we see they're going to risk calling you when you don't have a captain.
Yeah, and it's a really good game to play with people you know, intimately, people you are really friendly with, and that, and you know a lot about. If you and me played it, because it's the kind of game where it's you call bullshit and be you'd be able to tell when I'm lying, but I'd be able to tell when you're lying, but
you have to start second guessing yourself. Yeah.
And it's really interesting to play, because I played it right after I played Battlestar Galactica. So we'd already spent 3.5 hours accusing each other of being robots. And yeah, so I kind of got to know these people, and besides just talking shit in general while we're playing the game, and learning a bit about them, and just being friendly with them and that, and trying to make new friends and stuff.
Shocking.
I don't know why I want to do that. You because we were playing a game based on bluffing. It was really hard after 3.5 hours of concentration of bluffing and lying and cheating and trying to figure out stuff playing this, because every time I'd try and make a move, I was that worn out from thinking about, oh, they're a robot, to what card do they have? Do they have this? Oh my god. And it was the first time I'd ever played the game, so I'd be like, if I have this card, can it block the assassin? And they're like, yes. I'm like, I attack. And they're like, I block it. Thanks. I'm like, damn it. So I was tipping my hand a bit there, but yeah, it was really good. It's only like a $10 game or something. I think it's not expensive. It's good if you're you're at a D&D session or something, and one of your mates is running late, and they're like, oh, I'm going to be 15 minutes late. You go to everyone else, hey, do you want to play a quick round of crew? Yeah, so it's kind of been a really, really good eye-opening thing to see what other games are out there.
Yeah. It's always nice to meet new people, play some fun games. The food was also nice.
Oh, the food there was amazing. I had a Japanese steak too, and it was at the point where the sauce and that it's cooked in, it comes on a square skillet, and I was there kind of drinking the sauce off of the hot skillet, and I'm like, this is burning my hand, but it's so worth it. I went home and I woke up the next morning and I actually had burn marks on my hand.
Oh god.
They weren't bad, it's just if you were holding a super hot cup of tea. Yeah, so they healed up pretty quick, but I was like, it was worth it, it's so worth it. Yeah, so that's Izakaya Chuchi's Godzilla Games at 165 Lonsdale Street in the city. Yeah, it's every Tuesday. On a Thursday they run D&D sessions, RPG sessions. Every second week, I think it's now on a Wednesday night, they do Mahjong.
They did mention saying it.
Yeah, it changed a while, because we were talking to Mark for a while. They've changed which night it is, but it's every second night they do a Mahjong night. Every second week, sorry, they do a Mahjong night. And it's from the Melbourne Mahjong Club, I think it is, or Melbourne Mahjong Association.
I'm not sure.
They were looking for a space to play each week, and Andre and Mark were like, we have this top level of our restaurant that doesn't really get used. Want to play there? Also, I want to learn Mahjong.
Yeah.
And I think on a Monday night they do a sake and soju tasting thing. Probably every couple of months in the bar next to it at Nihonshu, which is it's part of the same building. It's just kind of a small, probably the size of an alleyway bar, probably the size of most people's kitchen, if most people are living in a 2-bedroom apartment. It's not a big bar by any means, but it's really, really good.
It's long though.
It's a really long bar, and there's a little bit at the back for smokers.
There's a table and stuff there at the back.
Yeah, and there's a smokers area outside behind one of the doors, which I'm pretty sure if you stand out behind that door for long enough, you are standing right next to the kitchen, and we'll probably get haggled by some chef.
Why are you standing there? Do not stand there.
No, go. Look at it. Yeah, so I guess in the next couple of weeks, because the new anime season's starting up, what are we kind of looking forward to watching?
Not much, honestly. I really want my plates. I don't have much time to be watching it because I've got all schoolwork is doing soon. That's assessment-wise and stuff.
There's the last half of JoJo's Stardust Crusaders.
No, I'm super behind on that.
Egypt arc.
Yes, with Dio Brando.
We've only got 4-ish more episodes, I think, left of this season. We're up to episode 60, which is episode 40 in the Stardust Crusaders arc.
Really?
Yeah, it's episode 40.
Jeez, I'm so far behind.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff that I'm watching is on like either a bi-season thing, which so the next one that I'm looking forward to is in summer, like Japanese summer.
Yep.
Other than that, it's just like a couple of things that continue from last season, the things that I've already watched,
Yeah.
like or read, but I'm currently getting adaptations.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like kind of iffy on those. Like I don't need to watch this. I already know what's gonna happen, but I might watch it anyway.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at the moment too, because I'm backlogged on shows from like, I've got shows.
90s.
Oh no, I've got shows sitting there that are aired in the 70s because I just want to watch like Legend of the Galactic Heroes. It's 110 episodes, and it's like I need to be in the right mind. I need to be ready to watch it.
You need to pay attention.
It's basically Battlestar Galactica, but if it was anime, and the ships look like giant swords.
They don't quite look like giant swords. They're like battleships.
Their Corvette ships look like daggers. I'm sorry, they look like Bowie knives.
Relevant. I love that show though, it's great.
But this season, there's Knights of Sidonia season 2, which is one of those shows I'll watch like one episode, leave it for a couple of weeks, watch like 4 episodes in a row, forget about it, and then the season will end, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and then I'll watch the rest of it and be like, I want more.
The dungeon one?
Oh, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
Something like that.
The show's interesting. I have mixed thoughts on that show. There's also Yoshinura Pedal, which is
cycling show.
The show about watching people ride pushbikes.
It's intense.
It's pretty intense. I mean, I watched 3, and that was like one of the most intense shows I watched last season.
Intensity is turned up to 3.
There's also...
Shokugeki no Soma?
Take the premise of Rail Wars, where there's people who are really, really like good and want to learn how to work in railway security, but this time it's food.
Does the main character wear like a headband thing?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's Shokugeki no Soma.
Yeah. Food Wars.
I'm currently watching that show. Sort of, because I'm reading it.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the manga. I'm upset that it's currently Golden Week in Japan, so this is my chapter next week.
That's brutal.
Oh yeah, no, it was just like...
I like the idea of it, because I haven't seen many cooking anime. I know there's a lot out there, but apparently last season was littered with cooking anime.
I know it was like perfectly graffiti.
It was like watching Channel 7 and like, you know, nobody cares about My Kitchen Rules.
No. Do you not want to watch Huey cook in the morning?
No, I don't.
Well, then
I don't ever watch normal TV.
You're not living your life correctly.
Yeah, so it's like the premise of that show is there's a high school kid whose father works in like a really, really upmarket restaurant.
It's not he doesn't work in an upmarket restaurant. He works like in a strip mall restaurant.
Yeah, but for where it is, it's pretty upmarket. Like, he's always packed and always has business.
That's because he's amazing.
Yeah, and then his father decides to head to Europe to improve his cooking skills. Yeah. But before he leaves, he enrolls his son in like the country's greatest cooking school.
Oh, it is the super elite of the school culinary world.
It's like it's basically being like an equivalent in the real life is being taught how to cook from Charlton Heston.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. Apparently there's a 90% dropout rate.
Which is
insane. Not because they drop out, but because they fail.
Which is insane for any educational institute.
Oh yeah, they lose so many students because they aren't up to scratch just by cooking stuff that probably passes in most haute cuisine restaurants.
Yeah, and I mean, what I want to see from this show is like dramatic, like how My Kitchen Rules and like what MasterChef.
I have no idea.
Those long drawn out sequences of like people cutting up food.
Oh yeah, you'll get that.
Or like judges filleting their food before they eat it.
You're gonna. I don't know if they'll adapt it. There's basically a tournament arc later.
Yeah.
And that has everything you want. It's just cooking for...
I'm pretty sure it's only it's slated for a 12 or 13 episode series.
That might be enough, actually.
And then we might get a second season or like another core, depending on how this season fares.
Depends on how much the manga adapts, or is it really? Because it's only shortly after the tournament arc, because that went for a long time, so they might actually only just get to the start of the show. That's taken up about 50 chapters.
Oh god.
80. Yeah, it took up a long time.
Yeah, I think maybe what we'll get is the whole Rail Wars scene of, hey, these people are applying for train school. Next episode, hey, these people completed like a year of train school. They're now security workers on probation. Okay, cool, sure, well, I accept this as
on probation.
Yeah, and this season so far is looking kind of dull for anime.
Just for me, because there's not a lot of stuff that it's interesting me at the moment, because I've watched a lot of shows. So,
and being backlog doesn't help me. Like, there's so many things I want to watch.
Oh, the problem is I've got backlog. When I go to watch it, I'm like, I don't want to watch any of these at the moment. I don't know what I want to watch. It's nothing. And I don't know, I'll go do something else. Play video games.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see where this season goes.
Your typical audience
I'm sorry. Well, I mean, mid-season, we'll probably get the reviews of, hey, this show is worth watching, this show isn't worth watching. I dropped this at episode 5, which is where plot begins. I'm sorry. Plot begins at episode 5.
Not for most shows. That's halfway over.
No. So your typical, like, 18 episode show, 22 episode show, 26 episode
26, it will probably begin.
Plot begins at episode 5, like Cowboy Bebop.
Didn't have a plot, that's episodic.
But it also had like an underlying plot, which is everything is random until, like, kind of random setup until episode 5.
Is that when What's His Face get introduced? The guy from Spike's Past?
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't quote his name.
I'm pretty sure that's something.
The episode's called like Heaven's Doorstep is the movie. Rock and Roll and Heavy Metal is the episode name of episode 5, and it's the one where there's like the two old blokes that you find in space, and in episode 5, and Spike just happens to be around them kind of constantly in that episode, and it helps carry plot forward. In shows like Gundam, plot generally starts at episode 1, but nothing happens until episode 12.
No, the plot starts at episode 25. Everything up to that is just meandering the pointlessness.
Everything before that is just fan service because robots. Or like Free's plot, like the first season of Free starts at episode 5. Free has plot. Shut up. Yeah, so I guess we've been going for a bit over an hour, and it's almost 2 a.m. and I've got to get home. So I guess we'll call it here. So Ryan, you got any closing thought?
Try to listen to this if you can. You probably won't enjoy most of this podcast and I could hear this. I'm sorry.
So much self-doubt.
I'm sorry we spent most of this thing talking about anime.
That's why we're doing it.
Yeah, because most of the people who play video games are into that. Play more video games. Try stuff like Sunless Sea, or don't actually...
Broaden your horizons.
Don't back...
Except join the Sunless Sea, because there are no horizons.
There's no horizons, it's probably the edge of the map. Don't back games that haven't been fully made yet. Don't go on Kickstarter if you can avoid it, because they don't have to deliver anything.
That's true. It's really true. A lot of people have been burned by that.
Oh yeah, I've done good so far, because I'm typically good at judging how risky it's going to be. Like, I didn't back Mechton Zeta, because that seemed really, really bad.
Wait, there was a Mech... Okay, so we have to explain this. There was a Mechton Zeta Kickstarter?
Yeah.
Okay, so
basically revamping the Mechton Zeta role system, which...
So Mechton Zeta...
It's a pen and paper RPG.
Like Dungeons and Dragons, but you make...
Sort of.
You make pen and paper in a sense.
Gundams or other generic 18-foot tall robots to fight people with, and that's what it's. It's like a
18-meter tall robot, yeah.
It's like Mechton Zeta, some dumb suffix.
Yes.
Not suffix prefix. Subtitle. and it just looked really sketchy from the video. But,
Yeah.
And I was like, it could be real because how many people have been trying to abuse IP like that? I don't know if it's still valid.
Mechton Zeta is still
anyway.
Mechton Zeta is still under copyright. Nothing's happened with it since like 1982 when Zeta Gundam came out. But yeah, it's really hard to get a hold of. There's a lot of it's only in Japanese, but there's scans and fan translations that don't marry up, and there's a lot of pages missing, which is I'm annoyed about because I'd love to play it. But yeah, so yeah, we'll end it here. And
what are your closing thoughts on the matter?
My closing thoughts.
What does a bed feel like at 3 in the morning?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting home in an hour and going to bed. Yeah, closing thoughts are probably try new things. Yeah, whether that be anime, building models, going to board game nights, food and drink. And if you're over 18.
No.
Or if you're under 18, I don't. If you're of a relative age where you could at least be allowed to drink.
Just make sure to get your guardian's permission because we don't want legal troubles.
Nah, for legal. Man, that's Reese's problem. Yeah, so I'm stuttering a bit and blah blah blah. I can't finish sentences. So Ryan, thank you for joining me on the Greendale Crew podcast. And we'll have you back at some time. Try and make this a bit of a regular-ish thing.
Wonderful. I'll have to watch more stuff to tell you why your taste is shit and why my taste is superior to yours. Because that's what I'm here for.
It's true. You always judge me. Yeah, try and make it a bit of a regular thing for our listeners to do other things other than play video games and watch the AAA movies. Yeah, this has been Brendan and
Ryan.
And signing off. We'll talk to you later. Bye.